I saw a meme where it was on Twitter, and it was the Maple Leafs parade route, and it was an aerial shot of a golf course. And then someone told me that there's a Blue Jackets meme out there that is kind of the same thing, except the golf course is in the shape of a CBJ.
Oh, I haven't seen that. But
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of those guys should probably already be golfing on the team.
I saw one of just Tiger Woods in the back of that cop car with a Jackets jersey on it.
Hello and welcome to Cannonballs, a production of Disrespected Media. This is a pilot show known as The Reign of Terror, and I'm Michael Arace, the host of what is going to be a fine program. With me today is the Reign of Terror. They got their nickname many years ago. These are my three of my sons, I should say, the middle sons, and they were known collectively as the Reign of Terror. From left to right on the blue shirt there on the end is Matthew.
How's it going?
There's Owen.
Happy to be here.
And Timothy.
Hello.
Timothy, you may know, also serves as executive producer sometimes.
Acting assistant to the executive producer.
Yeah. So you guys didn't do the hello and welcome to Cannonballs.
Boom.
Okay, we're off to a rousing start. I wanted to have these guys on because, as is often the case when you have a Groundhog Day sort of existence, and it's happened to me over these 26 years over and over again. Sometimes I sit down and I have no idea what I want to say because it's the same as the day before and the same as the day before that and the same as the day before that. Whereas these guys, the Reign, are constantly coming to me with new thoughts. Some of them very good, some of them middling, some of them soaring, and some of them, what's the button to empty the trash can? Is that empty trash can? Anyway,
I don't know.
I wanted to freshen things up, and I needed some young blood involved here before I begin producing another show called Grumpy Old Bastards. Anyway, let's get right to it. There's been a lot of Jackets talk around the house, especially today as the family is gathered for Easter and to watch hockey. And the hockey, what went down today and what do the standings look like? I guess let's start with that informationally.
Yeah, so Washington and the New York Rangers are currently still playing. It is tied 1-1. It's currently at first intermission. Jackets got a decent score where the Wild beat the Red Wings in regulation, but the Flyers beat the Bruins in overtime. So the Flyers have moved into the third spot in the Metro, passing the Jackets, and the Senators beat the Hurricanes, and they move into the second wild card. So now the Jackets have to jump both the Red Wings and the Islanders to move into either the second wild card or the third spot in the Metro. So they're currently 2 points back of both of those spots.
Now, one of the thoughts I had today was watching the Bruins. You guys watched the game much more closely than I, but Owen, this one's for you. How is it that the Bruins beat the living snot out of the Jackets when they just decided to turn it on? And the Philadelphia's out-Bruined the Bruins today. It seems unfair in a way, doesn't it?
It is. It is the Bruins' third game in 4 nights, so they're tired. They had their backup goalie starting, Jonas Korpisalo. So they were kind of behind the 8 ball a bit going into it, and that's just kind of how it played out. The Flyers won because, of course, they did.
And of course, in overtime.
In overtime.
Yeah, their exciting teenage rookie who played at Michigan State.
Oh, now
the game winner in overtime.
So yeah, it turns out they do have a pretty good teenage rookie played at Michigan State. Porter Martone is his name.
And where was he drafted, pray tell?
6th overall in the 2025 draft, I believe. Right.
No, this seems to ring a bell.
No back issues.
The Jackets have a drafted prospect of their own at Michigan State, do they not?
Young Caden Lindstrom.
Caden Lindstrom, yeah.
How many points did Porter Martone have for Sparty this year?
He had 50 points, 25 goals, and 25 assists in, I believe, 35 games.
And young Caden Lindstrom
had 10 points.
10 points.
I believe, 10 points in 30-ish games.
10 points in two 2 injuries.
Yeah, he's having an injury for every 5 points scored, it seems.
Now, if you're sensing a theme here, folks, fair listeners, it's because it's been a theme in my house, and it has to do with some discontentment with some drafting and developing. Is that fair to say? Tim, why don't you start?
Yeah, I don't know. Like if you have the 4th overall pick and you draft a guy who has chronic back issues, and I mean, I'm obviously rooting for Caden Lindstrom to put together a productive NHL career, but I mean, if you just look at the facts and how he's produced and the injuries he's put up, it looks a little bit like a long shot, and that's just kind of piling on top of the general frustration I have towards the management and the organization at the moment.
And in the rebuilding phase, you can't miss on those guys.
Yeah, especially if that's like what they thought probably was the last good pick of the quote-unquote rebuild. I mean, they almost made the playoffs last year. They're in the playoff hunt this year. That was probably, they hoped, the last time they were going to draft that high, although I don't know. I don't know going forward. But yeah, you'd like to hit that pick, especially the guy who went 6th overall to Montreal, right? 6th or 5th, I forget.
It was 5th.
5th, yeah. The pick after to Montreal has 60 points in 76 NHL games and looks like maybe the best young forward in the league.
Ivan Demidov.
Yeah, Ivan Demidov, yeah.
Now, obviously editing this because I'm winging it. But meanwhile, the Jackets went into this season in particular with 6 forwards you consider that were candidates for the top 2 lines to be top 6 forwards. And they are Adam Fantilli.
Young players, I would say, like a U24.
We're talking about young players now. We're talking this is the base of the rebuild, if you will. So you have Adam Fantilli, Kirill Marchenko, Dmitry Voronkov, Igor, I should say now, Chinikov, and Kent Johnson. Was that 6?
And Cole, you say Sillinger?
Cole Sillinger, yeah. You can put him in there too. We have to talk about Chinikov. I don't know. You guys got your phones out. What's his production now with the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Yeah, let me look that up. He had 2 more assists today.
Now injured for much of last year. Obviously, someone that Dean Evison was not a fan of.
When was the first time he asked for a trade? It's been a couple years now, has it not?
I thought it was July
The
of
summer.
last year. I thought.
Yeah, there are also like weird rumblings. I think during the Pascal Vincent season where he was kind of unhappy. I remember vaguely.
So anyway, you have a guy who wants a trade, who gets in the coach's doghouse, ultimately gets traded in December. Just a week, 10 days before the coaching change, or something like that. Maybe 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
And so So Chinikov, after going to Russia for a special procedure, there was a lot of weird stuff going on there, and there were injuries. And I will say, to play devil's advocate, that he was run out there. I mean, I looked up some lines from earlier this year and from last year, and he had chances. Were they extended chances? Were they fair chances? We can debate that, but there was a lack of performance. There was obviously some discontentment. There was a acknowledgement across the board that this was a quality player, speed and a shot, and we talk about this now because he is traded for pucks. Just prior to a coaching change.
A second and a third and Danton Heinen, which then they used a second and a third to trade for Mason Marchment. So
okay, it was many bags of pucks.
Well, they traded for Marchment before they traded Chinikov. They used one of the seconds to get Garland. The picks were used in the Garland trade.
So you guys are being very fair and fair-minded in your arguments here.
They recouped what they got for Marchment in the Chinikov trade.
Right,
basically.
But anyway, the point here is, you knew it last year. You knew it last year. You knew it last year. At least you suspected what a lot of people suspected it was, as is the case with a lot of Jackets trades. As soon as Chinikov was moved, that he would begin producing, and indeed that was the case. Is that fair?
Yeah,
am I misrepresenting what your thought process was?
I mean, if you look at it like on paper, he's a guy who's injured and struggling to get in the lineup, but which I mean, that's fair. He's his first round pedigree, and like if you watch him, he has obvious tools. Like he's really skilled. He's got a great shot, and he's fast.
He's a beautiful skater.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, maybe this is a guy who's like, he former first round pick, which is like if you're describing your player as a former first round pick, if that's the first adjective you jump to, they're probably not very good, generally, because then. But it's like. Yeah, you could see the tools, but like maybe this is a guy who just like never puts it together in the NHL, and he ends up back in Russia like before people think, or maybe he gets waived or something. Like, like you could see there are probably a lot of outcomes where this doesn't work out, but just the fact he gets traded, the coach sees him, the coach in Pittsburgh, Dan Muse sees him, thinks, okay, this guy's got great tools. Let me put him on a line with Evgeny Malkin, and we'll give him a ton of offensive zone starts, and he looks great. Like it's immediately he looks amazing. He has 20 goals and 19 points in 60 something games.
I think Owen's going to point out the obvious irony, because when you look at the Columbus lineup,
my only gripe is trading him in division. It's been obvious he didn't really want to be here for quite a bit. It's obviously he had the tools, just didn't quite put it together here. That guy should be a shark. He should be a mammoth.
He should be a duck.
He should be a duck. Trading him in division now, like especially with where the Penguins are relative to the Blue Jackets in the playoff race, it just screams mismanagement and poor development. And
yeah, and obviously,
I think the worst part of that is like Don wanted an NHL caliber forward back, and he could have gotten that second and a third or whatever it was it just a second,
third and
Heinen.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like he could have gotten those picks out west, but apparently Heinen was was what pushed the needle. I don't get that.
Like the rumors around, like the Leafs were also in on him, and like the package was rumored to be like Nick Robertson plus, and they were not really interested in entertaining that. At least, I don't know, that's what the rumors are. But it's like, I mean, yeah, you can point out the Jackets don't have Malkin, but still, like, I don't know, Malkin's 37. It's not like he's like he looked really good like at the start of the season last year with Marchenko and Monahan. Like that line was awesome, and then he got hurt, and they put Voronkov up there. That line was also awesome. But like, I feel like there's definitely ways they could have deployed him or developed him to make him, I don't know, utilize his tools and not make him a fringe player, when especially now they can't buy a goal from any line.
It's not Danton.
Yeah.
It's just as run. It's Sunday the 5th of April. It's just after 8 in the evening as we record. And I think one of the things that I was driving at or trying to lead you guys toward is something Timmy said to me the other night, which is, we'll go back to those 6 or 7 young forwards that are the base of what was a rebuild. And you look at it now, and Voronkov was scratched, comes back, gets hurt. Chinakhov is gone. The first line is, let me see, in this current 1-5-1 stretch, 6 straight, 0-5-1, so 6 straight losses in a row. I think defensemen have scored, they've scored 10 goals in that span, and defensemen account for 4 of them, forwards for 6, the first line for 6, so 6 goals during this losing streak. And so there you get at it, gentlemen, is when it kind of, you can see how it rubs Blue Jackets fans raw, that they're dying for scoring as they fight for the playoffs. They're in a swoon, and nobody's putting the puck in the net.
Yeah,
that's where I was going with
this Damon Severson.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Severson was playing awesome, especially on the first pair, and like, Olivier was part of that awesome third line, but like those shouldn't be load-bearing pieces. Yeah. Like, I mean, the Senators were out like their whole starting defense core like for like most of this run, and they're ahead of the Jackets now. Yeah. Like it's. Yeah, they just can't. They can't score. They can't score or generate any productive offense. At least the last 2 weeks.
They were relying on Charlie Coyle for unsustainable production, and that's dried up. I think they really miss Olivier, especially the last couple games.
Monahan's completely fallen off a cliff.
Sean Monahan's been looking pretty rough,
and they're pushed.
We're big Sean Monahan,
and they push, at least under bonus last 2. They've when they're struggling for offense, they push Kent Johnson down the lineup or scratch him.
Which
Yeah. So now you have a second line that is.
It's got Jenner and Monahan on it, and that's not
some concern there. I think Kent Johnson, he's in single-digit goals. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not ideal. Adam Fantilli has the same number of goals this year as Oliver Kapanen.
So the question now is, did they pull out of the rebuild too early?
I mean, like,
Or maybe I'm being too myopic here, and I should look at.
I think so. I think you've been in the rebuild a couple years. I think if you're not starting to push for the playoffs, you're doing something wrong. I think if you spend too long in the basement in the NHL, things really get bleak. So I think it's been long enough in the basement. So I don't fault them for pushing for the playoffs. I don't fault them for firing a coach mid-season or trading picks for Mason Marchment and futures like Gavin Brindley for Charlie Coyle. I don't fault them for that.
yeah, it's like I think
just unfortunate how Jackitzian the last week or so has been.
I think it's fine to like make more win now moves. I mean, it's not like they're shipping first round picks out for Coyle or Garland or Marchman or whatever, but it's like if you want to improve as a team, the most healthy sign should be that your young players are developing and evolving and carrying the load offensively, and not 34-year-old Charlie Coyle and 29-year-old Matthew Olivier and like
30-year-old Marchman.
Yeah, and Marchman and Garland, who I mean, I like these players, but they shouldn't be it should be because Fantilli is scoring 90 points and Marchenko has 30 to 40 goals, and I mean, that should be why they're excelling. And I think to a certain extent they have. Like, I mean, the run they went on post-Olympic break, like Fantilli was awesome. Like, he was scoring like every game, and the top line looked great. And Werenski has been Werenski the whole year, well, except for the last 2 weeks. But
yeah, hold the phone there because I was going to ask about that. To me, the team looks like they push so hard to get back in the race that they're out of gas. There are times when I think
tired. They look leggy.
And Werenski, who had a whole Olympic run in him as well. He wasn't the same Werenski last year coming out of Four Nations, really. And I think I see even more of a regression. And look, Zach Werenski, I'm on record, greatest player in the history of the franchise. He might have lost to Norris over the last 2 weeks, but that remains to be seen. A great player. The thing is given this lack of scoring, one of the key problems is they don't have an elite player to generate offense.
Yeah.
A forward is what I'm talking about. And I wrote the other day that who'd look good in this lineup is Johnny Gaudreau, and you hate to say something like that. It's but I mean that more in a big picture sense. Obviously, oh God, we'd all love to have Johnny Gaudreau, but they need that elite A-class player when they're going through struggles like they're going through now.
Because players like Marchenko and Fantilli, they have maybe some of the hands, but not necessarily the brain, the offensive brain that someone like a Johnny Gaudreau has.
Okay, you brought it up. There's one person that's been sitting in the press box that has that kind of brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure where the scratches are coming from, if I'm honest. I guess I don't really know. I think that's too good a player to put in your press box at this.
Yeah, I think
at this time of year, even if he isn't finding the back of the net, like he maybe should at this point in his career.
The thinking is he's getting pushed around too much right now. I think that's what the thinking is. There's a little old school in Rick Bowness, obviously. He has talked about in relation to Ken Johnson that he needs space.
And
he needs to go find his space. And he's got to win his share of puck battles, which both things are true. Obviously, he's not doing both of them, or not to the degree that the coach wants. But he's the guy that has that. He's got the hockey brain up there and the vision, and he's sitting, and that is. I know that's really frustrating for you guys. That's why I wanted to hash it out.
I think when you do things like this, it's such a clear signal that this player is not in your current or future plans. And I think when he is getting scratched at this point in the season for players like Danton Heinen, I think it telegraphs a move away in the summer. I think that we're potentially reaching that with Kent Johnson, especially if they decide to retain Rick Bowness, because it's clear he is not a Bones player at the most important time of the year when you need guys like this performing, and he's in the press box. I think that it sets up potentially for a move to be made in the summer with regards to Kent Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trading Kent Johnson for pennies on the dollar or for futures, that's like a failure. That's another just abject failure of player development. This is a guy they drafted 5th overall. He's not he's not a Bones player. Obviously, he's not a North-South player who's gonna you shouldn't want Kent Johnson to jump and chase the puck. Like that's not his skill set at all. Like he's an undersized, highly skilled winger. Like if you can't get that guy to produce ahead of like Heinen and Jenner and Lundestrom, what are they doing? Like if it's if they trade him and he's part of a package for like, I don't know, a better like a Matthew Nyes or like a Jason Robertson or someone like that, like I can understand that. But if they trade Johnson for like a late first or something or whatever picks they can get for him, I think that's ridiculous.
Okay, they've lost. I think
this is where we are dealing in hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's put a little bit of pastel shading on the hypothetical. Not defining Sharpie ink here, but a little bit of shade on it. They've lost 7 of 8, and it may have cost them their shot at the playoffs. If they don't get in, and Rick Bowness goes back to his boat, and you've got to hire a coach, and you've got a team that's missed the playoffs 6 years in a row, and one that is laden with veterans that have, some of these guys have term. First of all, what do you do next? And second of all, how do you keep Zach Werenski, whose contract is up in 2 years?
The summer is so fascinating because you've seen what some of these potential UFAs can do when they're playing well. Guys like Charlie Coyle and Mason Marchment and Boone Jenner, and to a very lesser extent, Eric Goodbranson. So you could bring some or all of those guys back and hope, again, you get another development year out of Fantilli and Johnson, if he still stays, and Marchenko, and you hope, another year of Greaves and you're good enough to go next season. So that's something they could do. Or they could cut ties with a lot of these UFAs and go a different route.
I think regardless of what you do with the UFAs, I think the first thing you do is you make Zach Werenski the next captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's a leadership change, younger direction. This core hasn't gotten it done. I think you gotta do that first.
That's an excellent point. Well, let's put it this way. Let's just say everyone loves Charlie Coyle, right? Charlie Coyle is a UFA. What is he? 35 years old.
4, I want to say.
Something like that.
Is he that old?
I think he just turned. Anyway, he's going to be looking for, let's call it 4 years at $6 million per, or 5 years at 6.
Yeah, I mean,
and he'll probably get it on the market. So, my feeling is, I would pay him, knowing that you're going to be paying for 2 years on the back end of regression, maybe 3.
maybe the whole contract.
Maybe the whole contract. Well, I'm just throwing it out there as a hypothetical. If Charlie Coyle is he's having a career year at age 34. Tim, you've made the point to me before. That's not a player that you sign to a UFA extension.
No, especially not that rich of an extension.
Owen?
He's a great player, but if I would sign him. I would sign him. I think he's a good player.
He's a great guy in a row, and he's a wonderful guy, period. And to me, he's a Blue Jacket.
I think he lifts the seal. I think he lifts the floor of that team. But again, I mean, there's much risk because of the age, and Father Time is undefeated. But I think he is a good player, and I think he's probably number 2 on that of the UFAs who I would bring back.
Who's one?
I think Mason Marchment is probably number 1, Coyle 2, Jenner 3, Goodbranson 4.
All right. Folks, what would you do?
Yeah, I'd re-sign him. It's like this. Yeah, I'd re-sign him. UFAs, in this class are not great from what I
It's a down
remember.
UFA year, I'm fairly
Yeah.
sure.
It's
Well,
really bad.
We're gonna swing back with the Reign of Terror at some point this summer, or if not before. But you guys know as well as anyone what the UFA market looks like with the cap going up.
Yeah, it's like Alex Tuck is the best forward by far, and after that, I couldn't tell you another guy is a UFA.
So you have to draft and develop. Where does their development stand? What's in the pipeline? They've gone from one of the top prospect classes in the league to probably mid-pack at this point, given that their guys are up here.
Scott Wheeler at The Athletic is doing his like NHL prospect pool rankings by team, and the Jackets I think were 17th.
Yeah, mid-pack.
Yeah, and they've got like some interesting guys like Jackson Smith, who they took in the first round last year.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I think he could be a very good player. But again, that's another left shot defenseman. That's not exactly an organizational need.
Right.
And then they have a couple like 6 foot and under Russian goalies who look like they could be studs, but
There's
also
a dearth at forward.
there's a real dearth at forward. I would like probably Luka Delbel-Beluz.
Good player.
Is a good player, probably a middle to bottom 6 guy at the NHL. And the fact that he's like 21 and still isn't 21, 22, and he still hasn't grabbed a full-time spot. It's not a great
He's
sign.
had a couple cups of coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could be a useful player for them, but I don't think he's not a top of the lineup guy. The one guy who could have like an outside shot of being a difference maker at the top of the lineup is Jordan Dumais.
Yeah.
But he's also, I mean, he's had like a full hip replacement or something like that, and
a scrape with the law.
yeah, he had a DUI in Canada, and like,
And then
he's also like 5'9" with not great foot speed, which is not a typical and a winger, and he doesn't play like a high motor game.
So he's not Patrick Kane.
I don't think he's going to endear himself to coaches in the NHL level if he makes it.
and then there's Caden Lindstrom.
Yeah, and there's
who
Caden Lindstrom, who's
is
kind of the wild card.
Still miles away from being close to helping the team.
Matthew, shouldn't we wait on Caden Lindstrom and see? I mean, like, it's natural to be skeptical of the drafting of him, and obviously his injuries and the time it's taking for him to develop. Probably back at Michigan State again next year, but not with Porter Martone. The way actually he's probably going back too, isn't he?
No, Martone is playing in the NHL.
I know he is, but he's
Lindstrom's
not
going. Yeah, Lindstrom's going back to college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do share a birthday. I'm inclined to me and Lindstrom, February 3rd. But I'm 2 years older than him, so.
Plus, you can dunk on him.
No, definitely not. But
He's like 6'3".
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
I think I should bring it up now that Matthew did dunk on everyone in the fantasy league this year. Is that correct?
that's
true.
just about over.
How is it that Owen didn't win again?
Through bad ads this week. Screwed me.
So when there's someone that's the commissioner of the league that's not you might not win the league.
This is slander. I run a very fair league.
Let's pause here for 1 second and figure out how we're going to bring this home. We're 30 minutes in. Is there any other topics you want to bring up? Tim, you and I have had a lot of great discussions.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do in the summer? It's like, how do you meaningfully improve the team?
Okay, let's
Wrap it up on the season.
Okay,
He's still playing.
I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll do a summer thing, and then we'll go right to. But wait a minute, and we'll finish up like that. I was going to finish with the fantasy league, but I already shot that. Okay, 10, 9. Let's pause here. So Don Waddell, who I have a lot of faith in, might have something of a shitburger in his hands now at this point, or I shouldn't say that. I guess Don Waddell might be in a tough position at the end of the season. He has hung on to his draft picks. It's not like he's completely devoid of assets, although he doesn't have a lot of flexibility. He's got the 3 UFAs, and he's going to have a coach. Now, I'm sure today when Jackets fans heard that a coaching change had been made on the island, that Patrick Roy was fired and Pete DeBoer was hired, I'm sure that Bruce Cassidy was a name that flashed in neon across the fronts of their brains. In this house, and I won't say who, it was even brought up, if only in jest, that fire bonus now and get Bruce Cassidy in there tomorrow, which was said in jest, I think, pretty much.
It's like 80% a joke.
An 80% joke. Okay, there's the cards on the table, guys. Who would you hire as coach, first of all? And presuming that Rick Bowness isn't coming back. Like for me, if Rick Bowness wants to come back and have a full camp and a full season with this team, I'm for that.
Yeah.
This is why, like, I think any talk of hiring a new coach right now is crazy. I think the Islanders firing Wah and bringing in a new coach on April 5th is crazy. Like, this team was playing so well for Rick Bowness for so long,
right.
And I know, like, the last 4 or 5 games have been brutal.
It was 80% a joke, Owen.
I know, but I think just to even consider that, like, is just a wild proposition. And
you can't.
They're not going to do that.
No,
obviously.
they're not. Obviously, they're not, because, as Owen said, it's insane to have Rick Bowness come out of the retirement and fire him with 5 games left in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
But he might be gone. I mean, I've been referring to him as interim, not interim coach Rick Bowness for a reason no one knows.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I think he obviously did a great job, like, coming in as Evason's, like, as like the boost guy. He gave them a huge bump. They went on a crazy run after he got hired. But, like, I mean, if you look at his track record, he's like 71 years old. I don't think he's like a super modern, like, even from like a player development standpoint, but also, like, I mean, he's like, I don't know, what's his ceiling as a coach?
Right.
I mean,
it's fair. Players love him. He obviously knows what he's doing. All right, let's leave that aside for now. Let me ask you this then, because we'll replay it on a future episode of Reign of Terror. Will he be back? What's your prediction, Tim?
I would say probably at this point, I would lean no.
Owen?
I think it entirely depends on if they make the playoffs or not. I think if they make it in, then yes. I think if not, then no.
Matthew?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just crazy, the head coach turnover.
Well, when did 2000 Larry Robertson replaced Robbie Fatorik? But they were in first place, and they went on to win the Cup.
But it's also like, I mean, there are like 3 guys who...
Torts?
Like, it's like John Cooper, Jared Bednar, and Rod Brindamore are the only coaches who were hired like in the 2010s who are still coaching at the same spot. Like, the average tenure of a coach is like 2.5 years, basically. Yeah. So it's like you shouldn't be wedded to any coach. I mean, Evason, I thought, was a decent coach.
I thought he was a great fit.
And they canned him after what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
Like that's just the landscape.
Woody McCarthy.
So like, I don't think you should be wedded to any coach, especially a guy who's 71 who you had to bring out of retirement.
So you're saying that was a bad question?
I don't think it's a bad question. I just think, like, you can change coaches all the time.
All right. So who are you hiring to?
I mean, if they want like the best coach available, it'd probably be Bruce Cassidy. But then again, like, I think coaching is so, like, I don't know any of the prospective guys.
So Bruce Cassidy is a shelf guy more so than Tortorella. Tortorella is actually has a much different reputation than Bruce Cassidy. Tortorella, obviously, who just took over in Vegas for Bruce Cassidy.
I want a coach who turns Kent Johnson into a 70-point scorer.
Yeah, give it to like Vogelhuber or something.
Exactly. Like, I think of Pittsburgh as like, who the hell knew who Dan Muse was before he was hired?
Yeah, no, he's Jack Adams.
Scores 10 goals.
They're a complete wagon, and all their young guys look awesome. I'm like, I want whoever that would be.
Well, who knew who Jared Bednar was before Chris McFarland hired him? He knew who he was.
And he coached like the worst team ever. Like, they had like 48 points.
And he took over for Patrick Waugh.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Coaching is so weird that, I mean, I have, from like the limited knowledge I have, like, I don't know, hire the best development guy at this point.
It's, we've been talking about all of this with the foreknowledge that this isn't over. This playoff race isn't over. Who has 88 points? Who has 89? Who's in the first wild card? Who's in the second wild card as we sit here on April the 5th?
Standings. I'm looking at Chinakov's stats. That's awesome. Okay, so Pittsburgh is on 96 points. They're second in the Metro. They're basically going to clinch. Third place in the Metro. Philadelphia has 90 points with 5 games left to play.
You didn't try here.
Ottawa is in the second wild card. They're on 90 points with 5 games left to play. The Islanders are 1 spot out. They're on 89 points with 4 games left to play. Detroit and the Jackets are on 88 points with 5 games left to play, and the Capitals are on 87 points with 5 games left to play, but they're currently getting drilled by the Rangers. So
We just had an Adam Sikora goal from Noah Laba and Jakob
Huge.
Schmiller.
Legends of the game.
Anyways,
the
keep
Rangers.
going.
Yeah. So the Capitals. It's basically in the hunt. I would say are the Jackets, the Red Wings, and the Islanders. And the Islanders are 1 point back with 4 games to play. The Red Wings and the Jackets are 2 points back with 5 games to play.
That's out of wild card too.
Wild card 2 and the Metro. They're
And the
both
Metro.
equal out of
Okay.
that. Well, the Red Wings need wild card 2. The Jackets and the Islanders could go either.
So, do you expect a DeBoer bump? This is the first question.
I mean, with 4 games, I have no clue. Like, I mean, Torts won 2 games for Vegas immediately, but I don't know. Like, I have no clue. I mean, I think they hired him so they could get ahead and make sure no one hired him in the summer. Like, they gave him like a 4 or 5 year deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's exactly like a Tort situation where he's like an interim to the end of the season. So I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but they've kind of run out of runway.
Okay, back to the original point is the Jackets are certainly not out of this. They have to, obviously, they can't play like they have the last 6 games or 7 out of the last 8. And even that 8th one was a little dicey. They have to flip a switch right now. And if they can, going on the road may not be the worst thing in the world for them either.
That's what I was thinking. They got Detroit next, who's been firebombing their season, arguably worse than the Jackets have done.
Detroit
Next,
Detroit's
Tuesday.
been awful.
And then they're off to Buffalo.
kind of also tripped up.
Yeah, they've
We've
clinched
already
the playoff
clinched the
spot.
playoffs.
There might be a load management there.
The Montreal.
Also, maybe load management.
Yeah, load management in Montreal, though.
They clinched today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And then Boston and Washington homestand.
It's that Sunday, Tuesday, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're,
Like, there's definitely a path for that.
There's a path there.
There's still a way.
I mean, yeah, but they had, their last 2 games were so bad. Like, I mean, the Carolina game where they had 10 shots on goal.
Shockingly bad.
Yeah.
They had,
Like you'd feel differently if they had put up a fight.
Yeah, they didn't leave a mark on
made
anybody.
it close. They weren't. They have not been close.
it's
the
like
last couple.
the last 2
games.
games they've had
They've been way off it.
They've had last 2 games. They've had 25 shots combined and 2 goals.
That is what is concerning.
That's like a
Right.
I looked this up.
The Avalanche do that like every period.
Yeah, they're certainly not the Avalanche. I looked this up earlier today as I prepare to write a column for tomorrow morning at The Disrespected. Please visit thedisrespected.com. And I think I looked up the last 3 games. They've gotten to double digits in shots in 1 period of the last 9.
Yeah, that's insane.
And there's a 3-shot period. There's a couple 5-shot periods. There's a 4-shot period.
That's like what the Canucks do. That's like the Canucks have a promotion where they have the chili promotion where you get, I forget what it is, but they're so bad that if they get 20 shots on goal in a game, they get like whatever the equivalent of the free chili promotion is.
They struggle to hit that.
And they don't even they hit that like every other game.
It's
Like that's how bad the Jackets have been like the last few games.
Canucks comparisons.
they clinched.
So you're saying
30
there's a
seconds.
chance? You're saying there's a chance?
I mean, yeah, it's like the Flyers are just red hot right now, and they've got their awesome 19-year-old forward who scored a game winner today, and like they also have a game in hand on the Jackets, or maybe they're ahead of the Jackets, and they either have a game in hand or they've played the same amount of games. I forget exactly, but
Yeah.
and like the Senators won again today, and it's like I look at it and I don't know.
Isn't this fun? It's supposed to be fun, the playoff race.
Yeah,
Are you having fun, Matthew?
It was fun.
It was like a week ago. It was awesome.
It was so fun.
I don't know. I was like, are these the 2012 LA Kings where they're gonna sneak in and then win the cup? And then no, they're like the 2026 LA Kings.
All right. I think we've talked this out for now. I want to thank the Reign of Terror for joining me for the first ever, for the pilot episode of the Reign of Terror. We're going to have some more fun as we move along here, especially if they get in the playoffs.
It's a big if.
Yeah. And of course, breaking down the summer. You guys have broken down enough summers over the years, starting in April,
Starting in November usually, but yeah.
But I'm saying, I saw a meme where it was on Twitter, and it was the Maple Leafs parade route, and it was an aerial shot of a golf course. And then someone told me that there's a Blue Jackets meme out there that is kind of the same thing, except the golf course is in the shape of a CBJ.
I haven't seen that. But
Yeah, that's pretty good.
yeah, I mean, a couple of those guys should probably already be golfing on the team.
I saw one of just Tiger Woods in the back of that cop car with a Jackets jersey on it. He's screaming.
He was just talking to the president.
All right, that's it for this edition of the Reign of Terror for Matthew
Thank you.
and for Owen
Boom.
and Timothy.
Thank you very much.
I'm Michael Arace, the proprietor of Disrespected Media LLC, the host of the Cannonballs and Crucible podcast, the proud father of the Reign of Terror for this first confab. I hope to be many more, fellas. I enjoyed it terrifically. Please visit my website, thedisrespected.com. If you take in the podcast, please subscribe. It helps a lot. Like, share, rate, and review. Really important. So that's about it, boys. Wave to the people. We're out of here.
Something Columbus is the name for passing through. Forgotten franchises, they tried to steal the crew. Flyover country left the Jackets feeling blue. Fire up Nordeck noise, we have a place for you. We love to talk Columbus Crew. Blue Jackets finally get their due. We cover pro